Yo, what's up YouTube? So this video is slightly different than the usual one. I know I've gone off on rants about trends and other things pertaining to streetwear and stuff, but with this video it's kind of going to be a lot of things. So I'm not really sure if this video is going to end up being like 4 or 5 minutes long, 30 minutes long, or if I might just like not upload this at all, because if it's too much or if it's too long, I really don't want to upload it. Probably wouldn't even upload fast enough, to be honest. I originally intended to do this in more of a live stream, like talk about the future of this channel, talk about streetwear YouTube, talk about other streetwear YouTubers, like my interactions with them, kind of just the overall scope of things that are just in my head at the moment. I would like it to be a bit more raw and not heavily edited with a bunch of jump cuts. So if I do stutter or say like 57 times in a row, I would rather keep all that in to kind of make it seem like one continuous video as opposed to something that is heavily chopped, cut, and edited. So if this video drags, that's pretty much why. But I do want to get a lot of points across, and I do want to get kind of what I've been feeling or thinking across as well. I probably will occasionally look down at an old phone I have with some notes, because I was going to end up filming this last night. I might end up doing this in a live stream and having kind of a conversation as opposed to just me talking into a camera without kind of hearing from other people on what their perspectives are on the things I'm going to be talking about. But anyway, with streetwear YouTube, like I've said in the past, I think maybe a video a few months back, it's definitely a big boom in popularity lately. And I mean, I'm not really consuming the content the way I was prior, because before I feel like I always knew, you know, what streetwear YouTubers were really popular, which ones were kind of up and coming, you know, like the new ones that would pop out, and I would always keep an eye on things. And I'm sure any other creator in this space would probably tell you the same thing. They'd be lying if they told you they don't watch anybody, or they're not looking out for if anyone else is coming up relatively quickly. But with me, I always paid attention to what was popular, to who was growing fast in this particular genre of content here on the platform. And it's weird because lately I've been consuming this type of content less. I don't know if it's because a loss of interest in streetwear, I guess, or I don't know if it's just me not being interested by the content being produced by the creators. I'm not really sure what it is entirely. Although, admittedly, even some of the comments that I'll get on occasion, some people saying like, oh, you don't post enough, so you're wasting your platform, or you're stunting the growth of your own channel by being absent 3 weeks out of the month, which is completely true. There I go saying for like the 20th time. But it is true. In other cases, I'd say some people were more so affected by the algorithm change on YouTube or being demonetized. But I feel like for the most part, it'd be easy for me to kind of say, oh, views are down or subscriber growth is down because, like what I just said, because of the whole demonetization censorship thing. But that's probably not why. For me, I would rather take personal responsibility and say it's my own fault for not being consistent. It's my fault that the channel is kind of stagnant in viewership and subscriber growth, or like interaction on the channel like has been low. And like I said, I could say, oh, it's not getting in the sub box, turn on post notifications, whatever. And then maybe that is the case. Maybe that's partially the case, but I would still like to take responsibility and say it is ultimately my fault why the channel is where it is, as opposed to being where other channels who may have had less viewership now being like 3, 4, 5 times bigger than where I'm at. And I've been doing this for quite a while, quite a long time, but there are channels who've been doing it for less, who probably hustled 20 times harder and are far larger. So they deserve it, in my opinion. There are some people who are like, oh, you deserve to be at that level, and I don't. I really don't. I know a lot of people like to boost my ego like that, but I really do not. I mean, you have I want to drop a lot of names because I'm not scared to name drop people because I'm not disrespecting them. But a lot of people will like allude to like who they're talking about in their video as opposed to just talking about them. But in my case, it's like the people I notice doing really well are people who are uploading consistently or just being interesting, I guess. Like, I mean, Magnus running is what? Magnus running and Frugal Aesthetic are probably like what, the two biggest ones to kind of pop out of nowhere and almost like skyrocket immediately. And I know a lot of you noticed that because I'd argue that they're probably two of the most influential or biggest channels, because I've seen people kind of newer channels, even though, like I said, I've been a little out of the circle lately on like who's popping up, but I've seen some new channels who definitely took inspiration from those two, I would say. I've seen a lot of people, I don't want to say copy, but have been doing things similar and putting their own twist to the type of content that they make and doing it on their personal channels. And that shows that they are influential. And it's just kind of weird. Like, it's really weird because for me, I'm not really, you know, friends with streetwear YouTubers or really any YouTuber. Like, I'd say I'm acquaintances. Like, I've been in the DMs with people. Like, I've talked to people on the phone. I've texted other YouTubers and stuff. Like, I'm on a first-name basis with a lot of people. But, you know, we're not friends. Like, we're not hanging out. We're not collabing. We're not doing stuff like that. And I don't know, maybe friend is like something, it means something different to me than it does to you. But for me, it's kind of weird because when I was at a certain level, like, there's a certain time frame, if you just scroll through my feed of videos, there's a certain time frame where the viewership was insane. Like, it was very consistent, and it was viewership that was larger than the subscriber number I had. And it was for like a pretty good chunk of 2017 that it was like that. Specifically talking about the streetwear content, at least. And there'd be people in my DMs and shit, right? Like, hitting me up. And I don't give a fuck if this shit gets demonetized. This video is not even for money at this point. I mean, if I put ads in it, then I do, but whatever. I don't really fucking care. But yeah, people would be in my DMs, right? Maybe not small channels like 5,000 subs, but like maybe 20,000 to 45,000 subscriber channels. And they'd be like, yo, what's up? Like, or do you live in California? Let's collab. Let's do this. Let's do that. And I mean, at first, I considered it with some of these people. And it's weird because when they actually ended up kind of being bigger than me or at the same viewership subscriber level, they suddenly stopped talking to you, which is funny because it's like 5 minutes ago, you wanted to be buddy-buddy, best friends, let's hang out. You'd ask me for advice, I'd give you advice. And then it's like, we're not cool anymore. Or maybe we are, but maybe now you have nothing to gain from me, and you've already utilized everything I had to offer. It's kind of weird. It's kind of sad. I'm sure people in like any type of entertainment field probably have had interactions with people like this. And I don't think it's necessarily a knock on their character, because I understand everybody's living their own life. They have other stuff to deal with. But I just do think that's kind of strange. That, like, we'll be talking every day, and you want all this advice, or you want to do this, do that, and then magically you're just like, nah, fuck this guy. Like, I'm bigger than him, I don't need him, he can't provide me with any more. There's no leverage to it, there's no gain from hanging out with this person, or talking to this person. And hey, that's cool, man. Like, that's why I don't have a single collab video, I don't think, on my video. There was a point where I did have a collaboration with Paul from Locust&WildHoney, but I was in my own head for those few months. I never got to upload that video, and it was a winter outerwear essentials video. So by the time I like was finally gonna upload that, or like finish editing it, because it was a pretty long video, it was already like March or February, and that video was filmed in like November. So it was already past the winter time frame where people would probably actually click on that video. And I still have the raw footage from when we filmed that on my computer. I think it's like 20 or 30 minutes long, unedited, so I probably could have chopped it down to like 12, realistically, like omitting all the bloopers and whatnot. And it was a fun video. I probably should have uploaded it. But I don't know, I am going off a bit. Like I said, this is more rant-based, so if you want to click off, I completely understand. That's why something like this would probably be better suited for a live stream, where it's more of a conversation with the vast majority of you. But I don't know, it's a weird space to be in, like just talking about the inner workings of streetwear YouTube, because what you guys see is like a monotoned version of me talking about clothes every now and then. But obviously there's a lot more things that I'm interested in than just that. And it's funny because the old YouTube slogan or phrase or whatever used to be broadcast yourself. But I feel like all of us only show one version of ourselves as opposed to being a bit more transparent, which is fine. I understand at the end of the day, yeah, people say, oh, we upload videos for fun or whatever, but in reality, in 2018, you wouldn't be doing it just for fun. You're doing it because some people, it's their livelihood, it's their only job. Other people, it's a side gig, just to make some extra side money. And I feel like some of the content I made in the past probably was like, oh, I need a little bit more money. And then some of it was more, I want this to be out there for people to see. So I remember I heard, and I don't know if he was talking about me. I have no proof that he was talking about me. I just got a lot of DMs when he posted this video. And I remember it was Magnus Ronning. He posted a video, and he said something like, oh, if you want to post the part 2, just post it. Like, who cares if you get the amount of likes or views that you asked for before a certain period of time. And it was funny because within that same time frame, I posted a Supreme, like a Google Reviews Supreme thing where I read people's idiotic reviews of the store in New York. And I just, I just did like voices and impressions while reading them. And I really did enjoy that video. Like I made that video with the intention of just doing that one for fun. I didn't think it was going to make a lot of money. It was a really short video and it made like no money, but that's why it was a different type of video for my channel. So that's why I said, oh, give me this amount of support, then I will post the second one earlier. Like I would post it Monday, I think is what I said, which would have been like, I think 2 or 3 days after I initially uploaded it. But it didn't do too well, not like because it got dislikes or hated on. It just didn't have the clickbait for people to click on it. And it didn't intrigue people like the thumbnail or the title. And maybe if I did make it more clickbaity, it would have got more views. But that's why when he said that, people were in my DMs like, yo, he's talking about you because you said the thing, you're in the end of your video for the first time saying, if I get this amount of likes, I will do the part 2. So maybe he was. I never got anybody in my I never got him in my mention like calling me out by name or anything. But it was within, I think, the same week. I'll have to check because I really don't remember. But for me, I was like, oh, there's no way this isn't about me. Because that's the first time I ever said, let me do this for a part 2. But he didn't call me out by name. But like I said, I have no proof. It was just a bunch of subscribers of mine who are kind of like eyes and ears at this point, telling me that he was talking about me. But like I said, there is no proof. Ultimately, there might be other people who did the same thing, like, oh, have this many views by Monday and I'll do a part 2. Maybe there are other people who do that, I'm not sure. That was the one time I did it. Never uploaded the part 2 because people didn't click it anyway. And I know it's like, oh, you should always just make the content you want as opposed to the content that's going to get the views. But in reality, if I was just making stuff for myself, there would be no need to put it on YouTube. I could just edit it, make it, and laugh at it on my own. Or leave it unlisted to show to, like, friends. Then there would be no reason to upload it. Or make it public, rather. So, that argument that he made, I disagree with, because it's easier to talk when you're at the level that he's at right now. Like, oh, just upload it. Because you already have that cult following that will watch whatever you do and love it. But I'm kind of at that level where if I don't upload a trend video, an essentials video, or me talking about brands that I don't like type of video, it doesn't get clicked. I don't have like that same, or at least that same quantity of loyal viewers that will be interested in anything you upload. So that's why I did think that that was a little unfair of an argument to make, like just upload it anyway. At least I think so. I mean, I would like to have a conversation with a lot of people, like including him. I don't know if he fucks with me or not. I mean, I know he knows who I am because we've talked in his comment section before. Like on his videos, like I'll leave a comment. Usually a lot of people recognize that it's me leaving the comment, so it gets like pretty up there on like his top comment shit. But there's a lot of people talking about like streetwear YouTube right now. Like the casual, like I didn't even really know too much about him until someone name dropped him that he was talking about me like by name in his live stream. So I went over there and he was talking about my rant on streetwear YouTube being boring. And it's funny because I jumped on one of his other live streams and I caught him and I commented like, yo, what's up? Like we were talking a little bit and he was like including me in the discussion. And that's what made me want to kind of do this video right here. And I do want to do a live stream conversation with some of these people. Like I don't know whether or not they like my content, but at the end of the day, none of us really know each other. I mean, we just see what's portrayed in video as opposed to genuinely knowing someone's character or other interests outside of this field. So it would be cool to kind of have a big roundtable discussion on this, about this platform and on this platform, like do a YouTube live stream, not like an Instagram one or any other type of thing. And just discuss what's going on, our problems with the content, maybe how we can be more, I don't know, like, I feel like it's very cliquey right now, like the whole streetwear YouTuber thing, like, you know that those dudes hang out, you know that those guys hang out, and it's kind of like one of those things, like, they boost up each other, and then they only talk about each other, like, they kind of ignore the fact that there's, like, 90 other people uploading similar content, and I get it, like, people are like friends and shit, like kind of like clicked together. Maybe they live near each other, that's why they always upload, like are always featured on each other's channels. Better kind of what's the word I'm looking for here? They have better networking, I guess you could say, because I have turned down collaborations in the past, so it is kind of, I don't know, I'm kind of losing my train of thought right now. But yeah, like, I would love to be on the Casuals live stream. For those of you who don't know Reggie's channel, go ahead and check that out. Because I feel like he talks about a lot of things, and he seems really knowledgeable and passionate about what he's talking about. And, yeah, I would recommend checking his shit out. I'm saying this now so that I can get on a live stream, too. Like, I want to be on your channel and discuss all this. So it's not just me talking into a camera. It could be us having a conversation with your viewership or possibly with mine. Whichever way you'd like to do it. And same goes for other people in this space. And something else I also briefly wanted to talk about was, I'll get the other occasional comment, which will be like, I don't want to say like, I don't like using the word like hate comment or shit like that, but you know, they'll be like, oh, like fuck this guy, like they'll leave like a really passionate, like 7-paragraph freaking essay, like, oh, you don't know what you're talking about, what's it called? Antisocial social club will be popular forever. And they'll go on this like insane, like really angry rant in the comment section. And usually like the only reason I'll kind of never really respond to that, even though I'm responding to it now, but the reason I'll never type a response is you're not really going to learn anything from my response. You're just going to kind of stick to your guns and you're going to believe what you want to believe. You're not going to take anything I say to heart or believe it. But when I'm saying it in a video, I feel like it can be more convincing. So like even with people who don't fuck with me, like subscribers or casual viewers who just want to like see what I'm doing so they can dislike it, it's weird. I would rather you be like in my DMs talking to me or being like, yo, let's FaceTime. Like I'll give you my fucking Skype or email or whatever. Like we could legit talk if you genuinely have issue with me. I'm not even bullshitting you. Like, why would we just go on the comment section so you could get a couple of likes or whatever when we could actually have a discussion if you have a problem with something I'm saying or if you misinterpreted what I'm saying. And like there'll be people like, oh, like this guy isn't fashionable or whatever. Like, dude, I don't care about being fashionable. Because fashionable, like if you look at like a definition of fashion, it's like being in trend for the most part, if I'm remembering the definition correctly, like being on trend. I don't care about being on trend. Like I like clothing. That's why it's like sometimes I use streetwear in the title, but in reality it's like I like clothing. I don't care if it's considered streetwear. I just title it that way sometimes so it kind of relates more to you or to the general audience. But even when I make a least favorite trends video, I don't care like if you like something. Like those videos are more so of a commentary on the current fashion or things that were once popular and whether or not they were something I was interested in. It's never to bash anyone that took part in the specific trend of that era. It's more so just a commentary about me thinking something looks a little ridiculous or absurd. But sometimes people just, they read the title like, oh, this guy dislikes something? Fuck that shit. And they'll just like light me up, right? But then I'll look at the audience retention and it'll be like they saw 3 minutes of a 12-minute video. So you didn't even get to hear me fully go in depth about how I feel about certain things. You read the title, you maybe saw a stupid fucking meme I put at the beginning, and then you just made your assumption, typed it up, made it public, and that's it. Like, you didn't really hear what I had to say. But hopefully now you do. I really think being in fashion, fashionable, that shit doesn't matter. And as corny, as cliche as it sounds, you really can wear whatever you want. I do think there is kind of a politically correct culture that will tell you that you're not allowed to comment on anything negatively or critically, and that I don't like. I think you can make a joke or make light about anything. Like, you have like Jacob Wallace's meme on like ripped jeans. I know I've memed like ripped jeans and shit like that. And I think that's fine because you're not hurting someone directly by just making a little like passing joke. Although some people nowadays will take it as offense. And if you do, hey, if the shoe fits and you take offense to it, I'm not going to necessarily say sorry, but I do think that you should look at the context of what some of us are saying as opposed to taking it as a diss towards how you dress. Because none of us, I guarantee you, for the vast majority of us, none of us care about the price of your clothes. I don't give a shit about how much what you're wearing is worth. I don't care. You can wear a fucking dress. I really do not give a shit. But if you're comfortable in that, and to you that makes you happy, then you're winning in life. You are, you're doing you. And I can appreciate that. Like, I can see styles of stuff that I don't like. I can comment on it, make a joke about it. But I think if I was out there posting pictures of people, like people's outfits and telling them they look like shit and just roasting them, like, or not roasting them rather, but just being kind of filled with hate and being negative, then I would understand the criticism flying at me. But if I'm just commenting like, oh, I don't like that, that's my least favorite, I don't necessarily think that that deserves uproar. I really don't. But like I said, there are some people who I think do cross the line in possibly being overly critical on certain brands or certain, not brands, but how people dress. And then there's people who are just, you know, not taking it too serious, just poking a little fun, doing light jabs at certain items or maybe certain brands, certain styles, aesthetics, whatever, however you'd like to describe it. And I think that's fine. I don't see any problem with that. But yeah, like I said, being in fashion, I don't care about that. I care about clothes. I like clothes. I like the expression. I like buying shit that I like. If you don't like my fucking hat, I don't care. It really doesn't matter. But we live in this current culture of your values determined by how much the things you have cost, and your style is determined by how much or how expensive your items that you possess are. And I think that's just stupid. Like, none of that shit matters. I hope you realize, like, to the average, I'd say to the average male, they don't give a fuck about clothes, dude. Really think about it. Like, not just your little friends in LA, your little friends in New York and shit. Really think about it globally. The vast majority of dudes don't give a shit about this stuff. They think you look... They'll use some type of derogatory term if you're into it. They'll say that shit's gay. You know what I mean? Like, they don't give a fuck, dude, about what you're wearing. So this is a really niche community, and I feel like now it's seen as being so global and so big, when in reality, a lot of dudes don't care about this stuff. Like, they'll actually be mean-spirited towards you, but if me or another YouTuber gives minor joke, says a minor joke or criticism about an item in particular of clothing, it's not that serious. But like I said, people are, I don't know, I guess just kind of lost in I think I'm getting lost on a tangent right now, so I'm not gonna edit any of this out. But it's weird. It's weird. I don't think people realize how small and niche this interest is. This interest in a men's fashion, menswear, streetwear, whatever you'd like to call it. It's small. It's not as big as people think. The vast majority of individuals could care less. So, yeah, I mean, I'm trying to think what else to talk about. I might actually have to look at a note or two right now. That's why I said this kind of shit would be better on a live stream, if I'm honest. But yeah, I mean, what have I already discussed? The other channels, the stagnant growth in views being my fault. So give me a quick second. Like, let me see. Yeah, I mean, I guess that's it. Because if it was really on my mind, I'd just be able to convey it right now. But I hope you have at least kind of heard a bit more about me, kind of seen a bit more. Because usually, you know, you see the jump cuts, you see me talking about a shoe or something, and then that's kind of it. I say, peace out, YouTube. That's the end of it. A little outro song plays or whatever. But, I mean, I don't know, man. It feels kind of all meaningless, I guess. I don't know, but I do want to do more on this platform or on this channel in particular. The only other few things, okay, actually there is some more stuff I want to talk about, so you could exit out right now if you want, but I'm going to just keep going. But the other thing is, at one point, I did feel like I was more than just the streetwear channel, the dude who only talks about clothes and shit. And that was when I uploaded horror-based content on this channel, the Hypebeast stuff that I uploaded on this channel, even though some of that was obviously pertaining to clothing. And stuff like that, the little skit-type videos. Even though those were fun to do, but they ultimately never really gained a lot of views, so it just didn't really make sense to spend too much time on doing those if I wasn't going to be compensated for it. Like I said, even though I like it, even though I want to do it, if I'm ultimately not reaching enough people for it to be viable to spend a lot of time on, there's no reason for it. There's no reason to do it at that point. But I do think eventually this channel will be more than just clothing and stuff like that. I do want to dabble into discussing other topics, whether it be music. I don't necessarily believe I will ever include my automotive interests in this channel, because I had another channel for that. Although it's currently not being utilized for anything, it's kind of just floating on YouTube with 3,000 subs or whatever it has. It doesn't really matter. I don't know if I'll ever post on that again, because for a while I was doing that a few years back, I don't even remember how long. And I was spending more money than I was making going to all those events, although those are tax write-offs, like the fuel you spent going to the events and the mileage or whatever. I was kind of like breaking even or just not making any money at all, so it wasn't financially viable for me to continue doing that type of content at the time. I would like to take another jab at it without necessarily having to just film cars and not do anything else. Like maybe have more automotive discussions and things of that nature. But I remember at one point, when it felt like a job, like a real job, like I was like, wow, like I'm actually miserable doing this. I'm not really having fun. I kind of lost the interest in doing it. Because for me, I'd say like cars are probably still my peak interest. Like that's probably the thing that interests me the most. And that's why I didn't want to do it as a job, because it made me lose some of my interest, even though I'm always, looking up on what's going on in the industry, and still always looking at stuff I can't afford, which is dumb, because at some point it's like, you can keep dreaming, you can keep having all these thoughts about how you want to have this, how you want to have that, but ultimately if you take no action, all that means nothing. Just like when I say like, oh, I want to upload more. Okay, that's nice, that's a good thought, but if you don't do it, there's no gain. You're not doing anything. Like, you can talk all you want, you can think all you want, but your actions are going to speak louder, and they're going to get you where you want to be. But I have that daydreaming problem where I'm always like, oh, I want this, I want that, that would be nice. Oh, I wish I had that subscriber account. And thinking like that can get you to be envious or jealous, but not necessarily super spiteful about it. Maybe it's like really passive aggressive, like, fuck, I wish I had that. Like, damn, why do they have that? But like I said before, a lot of those people, although some maybe started off with a lot of money and were able to produce certain things, there are other ones who were just hustling and really making the most out of this platform. And then there are others like myself who should have taken advantage of the platform more, but haven't. And it would be nice for me to say I will, but truthfully, I don't know if I ever will. Like, I don't know. I'm too in my own head. And at some point, recently, I probably stopped believing in myself, which is, this is getting fucking sad, dude. But yeah, it's true though. I mean, like, I don't know. I just need to get in a better headspace, because I'm really just off it right now. I'm really losing it. So, yeah. I don't know. I'm sure everything will work out. I'm sure having like a positive attitude, hopefully kind of doing more on this channel, whether it be experimenting a bit more, will probably help. Because even though I did disagree with upload whatever you want, because I think it's easier to say that when you are larger, Magnus wasn't completely wrong on that. Like, I did disagree with a lot of what he said in that video, but at some point you just have to do what makes you happy, and hopefully, like, the money comes in later, if that makes sense. I don't know if it will though. Luckily, this isn't my only revenue stream, because otherwise I'd be broke as shit, to be honest. Like, I don't make the money I used to make on YouTube. Like, the money I made before was pretty good. It wasn't bad. It wasn't anything extravagant. Like, I wasn't out there at the fucking Louis Vuitton store. I wasn't buying a freaking new car like every year like some of these guys do, but it was a livable wage even after taxes and everything, because there's always a way to, you know, to get write-offs and stuff like that. But I don't know, hopefully I figure it out. Hopefully you guys did enjoy this. I know this is kind of I don't know if it's sad, I don't know if it's eye-opening, but if you ever do want to have a conversation, if I'm able to, just DM me on Instagram, and I will start actually posting the type of content you want on Instagram. People are always like, why don't you upload like fits and stuff, or you know, other clothing related stuff. And I will more now. I'm gonna try to, at least, and that I actually will, like, no bullshit, try to do more frequently, as opposed to just posting the occasional Instagram story, because I do realize that I probably should have taken into account that Instagram does matter. Believe it or not, like, a lot of these dudes with the huge Instagram accounts, it helps their YouTube, believe it or not. So I remember it used to help my car channel back when my car Instagram used to actually be big. Now it gets like no likes and no anything, but you could see that at one point it was big. Now it's kind of dead. It does matter. Ultimately, for this business, it does matter. So if you want to follow me on Instagram, I would really appreciate it. Because I will actually start posting the type of content you want to see there. Anything else? I'm trying to think. Anything else? With the whole horror channel thing, and like I already said, with the car channel, I don't know if I'll ever do it again. Even though I would like to transform this channel into more of a lifestyle channel, with that horror channel that I did make, it's currently just not... I'm not fully able to do it, because... you know, there's that channel actually, and just that content in general, was hurt by the whole censorship, demonetization, family-friendly content thing that's been going on. That actually was affected. Like, I get hit with, what's it called? Not family-friendly, or not advertiser-friendly. That's the actual correct term. I've been hit with that a lot of times on some of my older videos that I've had to delete, because people have been false flagging those as well, saying that they were too extreme in nature and stuff like that. So that's kind of why that stuff didn't happen. But I do have literally tons of pages of stuff that I had planned for that channel. But right now, I'm just not financially able to do it like the way I want to, because I would want to spend money to do it. And as far as the clothing streetwear stuff, like I said, I'm going to try other stuff. I would like it to be more discussion-based like this. Talk about what's going on. Maybe just do live streams on YouTube instead. And the occasional trend video, but I don't really want to do those all the time because then I'll just oversaturate because everyone does those now. So, yeah, I mean, if I left anything out, I'll probably just discuss it on a YouTube live stream next week because I'm going to be busy the rest of the week with work. But, yeah, possibly next week. Maybe I'll jump on Instagram Live, so just hit up my Instagram. And, yeah, I guess that's pretty much it. So, thank you so much for watching, and hopefully, I don't know, hopefully I actually turn all those thoughts and dreams and desires into a reality.